Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and incidents in pop culture to see how those incidents may or may not affect our daily lives. Listen, I am going to recap for you all day 3 of the ASAP Rocky shooting trial. Today, all day, it was a short day. It only lasted in the morning time, but the whole day we had ASAP Relli, and this was direct examination by the prosecution. So we should have cross examination tomorrow. So this is what I will say. Here are the pros in regards to the prosecution in this case. They were able to do a couple of things. They got those videos and they were able to explain the videos. I will tell you the gun being out because there's two locations. There is a location in a parking garage, and then that's the first location. And then we have the second location, which is around the corner and to the back of the parking garage. So, so let's say that you're on a street. I don't know the names of this street, but I know like Argyle and Selma keeps being mentioned. So let's just say that the parking garage is on one street, and they go in you because you know how the parking garage goes and the cars go in there. So they're right there at the front of this parking garage. Then the altercation ceases, and then they go around the corner, and then another altercation happens, and then there is a fire, and two shots were fired. Okay. The prosecution, the playing of that first recording, it is clear that you see they mm, it's clear, the video is clear that you see two people squabbling, and then one pushes one person outside of the purview of the camera, and then they come back into the purview of the camera, and you do see a gun being pulled out of a waistband, and then you see it quickly placed back in the waistband, and then you see them go off camera. Now, that's a visual evidence to show, and the prosecution tied up who had on what clothes, and they showed that ASAP Rocky was the one in the black hoodie, black all black with the hoodie. Okay. And they showed that he was the one that had the gun. Okay. Now they're going back and forth about well, not at this point. The defense is probably going to go back and forth about it. However, so visually you see that. Now when you see the altercation going around the corner, which is behind the block behind the car park, the parking garage, that film is quite grainy. And matter of fact, you can't really tell anybody but the person that wore red. And I believe that the person who wore red was ASAP Ills. Okay. That's the person that you can see because of the fact that he had a red. Everything else was so grainy, you couldn't make heads or tails about who was when and where. All right. I will tell you that was the pro for me. The con was the fact that the way the prosecution laid out this case, it was disjointed. They weren't asking questions in a chronological order to follow. And also, I will say this: ASAP Relli is a soft-spoken man, but he doesn't know how to answer questions. I mean, a yes or no answer, he will answer. He won't answer it yes or no. It's always, you know what I'm saying? Uh, people just need to keep it real sometimes. That's how he answers the questions. Now, I will tell you, he seemed to be kind of zoned out. And what I mean by that, I think in his head, the way he presented to me, in his head, he was ready to get to whatever that part that he wanted to get to, and that everything else he was just kind of just mumbling through. So let me tell you what I got from there that was confusing to me. Now, in yesterday, when he started his testimony, he said that he came to California because he came to help out his artists. And he was focused on his artists, and he came to focus on his artists, right? So he gets the text messages that, well, first he hears a telephone call uh, off on speakerphone, and he hears ASAP Rocky say, I don't fuck with that nigga. I don't bother with him. I don't want anything like that. So this is what we hear. There is no context as to why. And the prosecution kind of skips over, well, why don't y'all like each other? He says, well, we just uh he hangs with 12E, and I don't, they came after me, and in ASAP, and I just, I don't really mess with Rocky like that, and stuff like that. You never got an answer as to, because it didn't make, in my opinion, it didn't make sense from that. How did it escalate to you all fighting in the car park? So it didn't make any sense to me. I couldn't, I personally could not figure out why they were fighting in the car park. So then we get to the prosecution goes through about who was what, where was what they were doing, why they were doing what they were doing. So when they're in the car park at the in the front of the car park garage, ASAP Relli says, well, we were talking and he was upset, and then ASAP Rocky pulled the gun out on me, and ASAP 12E put a knife out on me, and then they walked away. Okay. They walked away. They walked down the street heading for Hollywood Boulevard, and then they made a left, and that's how they got to the part. He follows them. The prosecution couldn't get out of his mouth that he was afraid, because he was like, I knew I wasn't going to see Rocky anymore, and I had to get off my chest. I had to get everything off my chest. And he kept following him. Someone just pulled a gun out on you. Someone pulled out a knife, and you still want to walk behind them talking about I had to get things off my chest? Negro, you in the group chat. You were in the group chat because you saw text messages and Snapchats and all kinds of stuff come across your phone. You were in the group chat. You had ASAP Rocky's telephone number. You all had texted each other. How was it that you weren't going to be able to have contact with him ever again? That didn't make any sense to me. The second thing that didn't make any sense to me is he says that he got shot in his hand. And then he says that he put ASAP Ills in the middle between him and ASAP Rocky while ASAP Rocky was shooting. Right? To the point that he wrestled ASAP Ills to the ground. He wouldn't let him go. He kept wrestling him to the ground, and if I recall, they fell to the ground. Then he says, my hand was hot, and I got shot. Well, which was it? Did you get shot in the hand first, and then you fell to the ground? Because you was whooping on, according to his testimony, he was whooping on ASAP Ills, trying to hold him in front of him so that so he wouldn't get shot. Again, why would you go around the corner with someone who had a gun and another person who you said had a knife. Let's continue. So the prosecution is trying to keep him there about the fight and everything like that. He wants to go in about, oh, well, I came back and I picked up the bullets. I picked up the shell casings. I got the shell casings. Now, here's the thing about those shell casings that he got. Once he got back, once all of this altercation was over, from the first altercation in front of the gun park and the second altercation behind the car park on Argyle or Selma Street. I don't know which one. He goes back to the hotel. He then says, I took my girlfriend. I went to the hotel. I got my girlfriend and we went back to the scene of the crime. But I called a lawyer first to see. I called a lawyer to tell him, because I needed to have a lawyer with me when I did all of this, when I talked to police. He never called the police to tell them, listen, I'm going back to the place where I was shot. I need somebody to meet me there. He doesn't do that. He takes his girlfriend, which we didn't even know she was there. Nowhere in the testimony yesterday or before the testimony that I'm talking about did he say anything about his girlfriend, right? He says him and his girlfriend, they go to the Dunkins on Hollywood Boulevard. They get a bag and they get a pen. And they go back to the crime scene. And while they're out at the crime scene, they found the shell casings. Here's the kicker. About an hour before he did that, the police were there. There were 7 police officers. They were in and around that place. They didn't see any shell casings. He happened to walk right to where the shell casings were, took a pen, picked up the shell casings and put them in the Duncan's bag, and then went to the police the next day. There's a text message, and I cannot tell who initiated the text messages. However, he texted ASAP Rocky, and I think he also texted ASAP Rocky's manager. I don't know if they were in a little text chain together, and they were texting back and forth. And he was saying I think he did the manager or whatever. But anyway, he texted them to tell them, I'm going to get me some money because you shot me. ASAP Rocky texts back, what are you talking about? He says, you shot me. And so in ASAP Rocky's text, he's saying he's not copping up to it, so to speak. He's saying that I didn't do that. He's not even acknowledging that fact, right? So him and the girlfriend supposedly gone back about an hour, and he has his phone where he took the pictures, and he was very apt to tell you that it's got a timestamp on it. I took the picture and I got a timestamp. Well, there was a portion in here where there was a person in a white shirt that was there. Now, these people were supposedly there around the time that he was supposed to have been there. And he kept saying, well, my phone has the timestamp of when I took a picture of the bullets. But when they showed him the footage, it was somebody. Now I could not see it clearly. I'm only going by the description that they get, because there was an impeachment of the witness situation going on, and the defense said the defense said the word, and the prosecution's like, no, we're not going to impeach. It's not an impeachment thing. And so then that signaled ASAP Relli to say, oh, that's not me. That's not me. Because initially he said it was him. But then when the objections and stuff started, and he realized, oh, hold on. Oh, well, that's not me. What wasn't matching was when he said he went and versus what was on his phone. Also, which didn't make any sense, is why did you, if you were going to go back, at no time when he got to his room did he call the police. The first thing he did was he was working on trying to get a lawyer. He spent all of that time initiating trying to get a lawyer. Now, I don't know, this was November. So I can't tell you if that's a Friday, a Saturday, or whatever time it was. But he spent that hour or so trying to get a lawyer. He talked to someone that I believe was a lawyer, and they told him that he needed to he said that they told him he needs to gather evidence. And that's why he went to the Duncans, got a pen and a bag, and now he's CSI Relli. So they have chopped this whole story. Now I said it in 15 minutes, but it took pulling teeth to get that. Yesterday when he did his testimony, first he was a lefty, then he was a righty. He doesn't know if he's left-handed or right-handed. But once it got again, it was pulling teeth to get information from him. Just pulling teeth. But once we got to where he became CSI Relli, he was very quick with all the information. I went back to the hotel. I got on the phone. I was talking to I was trying to get a lawyer. I called ASAP Rocky's manager. We were texting back and forth, and then I left and I went to my girlfriend and I went to Dunkin' Donuts. I got a bag. I got a pen, because the lawyer said that I needed to get a bag and a pen to collect the evidence. And I went back to the place, and I was the one that collected and picked up the bullets. Question is, all that time you were being a CSI agent, why did you not call the police? Where did these bullets come from? Where did these shell casings come from? Now, I did not watch the preliminary hearing, so I don't know if there's other evidence going on. But I'm just unsure where that came from. So that was a day 3 in a nutshell. We did not have a long day. We did not have a long day, but it was pulling teeth. I think that we could have gotten through ASAP Relli and ASAP CSI Relli quicker than what we did. Like I said, he's a soft-spoken young man, but he doesn't seem like the brightest bulb. He doesn't seem like the brightest bulb in the bunch. He has a difficult time explaining what he means. I don't think it's called talking in allegories. He uses a level of slang where he thinks that everybody understands what he's saying, and they don't. So, uh that was my con with the prosecution, because the way that they were asking questions, it wasn't in any type of order, chronological order. I was confused. I don't know if the jury was confused, because there were questions that I felt like should have been asked, but they haven't. Again, cross-examination is tomorrow, so maybe ASAP Rocky's attorney will ask the questions that need to be asked, because I have the question of, if you knew someone had a gun and they held that gun to your head, or they presented you with that gun, Why did you follow him? I think in certain points, the prosecution was trying to get him to say that he feared for his life, but that never came around. He was like, I had to go, I followed them, and we walked the same way. I walked that way. I followed them because, I wasn't going to ever see Rocky again, and I had to get things off my chest. I told him if he was going to shoot me, he should shoot me. He should kill me. Hmm? And then because it wasn't till toward the end of his testimony where I think he got context clues. And then he was like, my life has never been the same. I lost my artist, and my management business folded. I don't have no money and all this other stuff. Now, I lost all of this because of the incident, because then now everybody is labeling me a snitch. And that's pretty much how the prosecution ended that. Because he still never really because every time they tried to gear him back or take him back to where they wanted him to go, child, he was not getting on that bus. He was letting the door open, but he wasn't stepping foot on that bus. So they would leave, they'd circle the block, come back with that same bus, but he wouldn't put a foot on that bus. He was just not trying to pick up what they were putting down. So tomorrow we will see. I will be live streaming it tomorrow. So I hope you all will join me. Let's see. It's going to be 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 12 noon Central Standard Time and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I will be live streaming it. So come join me. I really would appreciate it, and interact with me. We can definitely chop it up down there to see what's going on. Like I said, I'll go back over. I think the pros that the prosecution was able to do was to show that the gun was in ASAP Rocky's hand, particularly when they were at the entrance of the car park of the garage. They were able to get that in. That's very clear that that was there. What wasn't clear was the testimony from ASAP Relli. He was bouncing all over the place. And partly, like I said, he wasn't picking up what the prosecution was putting down. He was explaining things in ways that didn't make sense. He wasn't very clear again, and I think a lot of that had to do with he was using a lot of terminology and phrasing and slang that he understood but no one else understood. Like I said, something as simple as a yes or no question, he was talking in those selective phrases that he does. I don't know how to categorize that or what the wording is to say what he was doing, but that's what he was doing. So we will see what will happen tomorrow, because again, ASAP Rocky's attorney will be cross-examining him, or one of the attorneys will be cross-examining him. So, and also we understood that Rihanna was in the house, that Rihanna showed up in the house. So how about a round of applause for that? All right. We do this every week. We'll see you tomorrow. This is my ASAP Rocky shooting trial day 3 recap. Yeah, this says day 2. I just needed the slide for the ASAP Rocky, but this was day 2. But actually, it is the day 3 recap. So, y'all, hold on. Yeah, here we go. ASAP Rocky shooting trial day 3 recap. Y'all, please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell your coworker, tell that heifer that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos. All right. I will be because I'm on StreamYard right now, but I will be I think today or tomorrow is the last day that I can use the will be able to use the StreamYard app. So tomorrow will be on StreamYard. I have two different uh programs that I'm trying to learn. I'm doing a little slight a learning curve with them. So I'm going to probably use one of them Friday. And so y'all bear with me because that this will be the perfect time for me to do it because of the fact that we will be live streaming the court. And so I'll be able to fiddle with some of the things. So because y'all, StreamYard done got expensive. StreamYard is expensive. Where it used to cost under, you could do it for under $30. Now it's like 60 and $80 for basically the same features. The only thing that I see that they've added is that you can change the fonts. I don't know. So I need to find a cheaper alternative so that I could do this. Or I'll just have to go back to if I can't get the thing to work like I want to, I'll be on the free mode. So you'll just see the StreamYard thing up there. And so it wouldn't be a problem. All right, people, we do this every week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. Y'all, please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell a coworker, tell that heifer that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos. And as always, people, bye-bye.